to get their first playoff win? Is it Lamar Jackson or Josh Allen?
Him. Say it again. Say that last name again.
Josh Allen.
Josh Allen. Look, both of these guys are tremendous. Both of these guys are next and now in terms of how great they play the position. But comparison is the thief of joy, and I'm about to steal some joy away from you, Josh Allen. The pressure's on you. One, just because I've been a Buffalo Bill, and the last time the Buffalo Bills won a playoff game, what was that? 1995, Jim Kelly? Good Lord. That was before I even got there, so this is on me too as well, Josh Allen. But the point is, a lot of pressure on you because of the improvement, because of the talent level, because of the ability, because of the resume you built, and most importantly, because of what we saw of you last year in the playoffs. Now, this is not apples to apples comparing him to Lamar Jackson. I know where this conversation may go. Oh, Lamar Jackson is 0-2 in the playoffs. Yeah, one of those losses, he was a rookie and only played half the year, wasn't even the QB1 for the beginning of the season. And the other one, he had 500-plus yards in a loss with injuries all around him. No excuses, but that's not the same as Josh Allen. What was that from Josh Allen against the Houston Texans? I'm not lying. I could go to a Pop Warner game and watch a quarterback in distress and lose his mind and not do what Josh Allen did in that playoff game. Throw the ball backwards, run around. Bad news Bears football. So you got to get that off your resume. You have to exercise those demons. And you're going to the negotiating table going forward this offseason. Not Lamar Jackson. Lamar Jackson's numbers are already solidified. He's getting paid. He's the face of a franchise. He's the face of the league, one of them. It reminds me of Montrezl Harrell for my Clippers, who was the sixth man of the year, went into the postseason, struggled in the postseason, still expecting that big deal. And they look at you like, what have you done for me lately? We don't care about your body of work as much as what were those eyesore moments? And you can't have two eyesore moments if you're Josh Allen. Pressure's on him.
I like that take. I'm not going to push back on it. I'm just going to speak my own lane. Lamar Jackson, that dude's under more pressure.
Oh, I want to hear it.
Lamar Jackson's under more pressure because Lamar has already accomplished at the right age of, 25, everything you can accomplish individually and in a regular season, if he's even 25.
Yeah, I don't think he's 25.
Like, he might be 24, 23.
Yeah,
but he's already accomplished this. Think about it, y'all. He rushed for 1,000 yards twice. He led the NFL in passing touchdowns, won an MVP, unanimous MVP, second all-time as far as win percentage through a quarterback's first 37 starts since 1950. So Lamar Jackson has already accomplished everything you can accomplish individually in the regular season. What has Lamar Jackson not accomplished at all whatsoever? Anything in the playoffs. We talk about the 500 yards he had. 89% of those yards came when that team was trailing. So the yards were really empty stats, empty calories. So Lamar Jackson's under more pressure because he has already checked off so many boxes and Josh Allen is still yet to check off. Josh Allen hasn't gotten to that final stage. Josh Allen is still in that honeymoon phase, if we will. Like right now, we just applaud Josh Allen for doing things. Yeah. Oh, my gosh, he can outrun defenders. Lamar Jackson done been doing that. Like, oh, my gosh, Josh Allen's accurate now. Lamar Jackson was the most accurate quarterback from the pocket last year. We're still applauding Josh Allen for things Lamar Jackson has already done. At this junction in time, we got to see Lamar Jackson. Hey, what can you do in the playoffs? We've seen what you can do in the regular season, but it's time now to see what kind of noise you can make in those playoffs. Well, let's bring in another opinion. That's Fox NFL analyst LaVar Arrington. So, L.A., who's under more pressure to get the first playoff win? Lamar Jackson or Josh Allen?
It's Josh Allen.
Wow.
And listen, I got to give you your argument points as the reason why. If you think about it, all those things you just said about Lamar Jackson, right? Most accurate in the pocket. All the rushing yards, back-to-back 1,000-yard seasons. He won the league MVP. All those boxes that you said Josh Allen did not check off is the reason why he has more pressure on him. And the reason being is that if I come to the table and I lost in the playoffs and I have not checked off boxes that I can use in my favor to say, you know what, this is what I've done. This is what I've accomplished. You can say, as the Baltimore Ravens, we lost in the first round of the playoffs with the best player in the National Football League on our roster. You know what the translation says? Coaching, offensive line, running game, receivers, play calling, defense. You could go to everything because you certainly can't go to the best player and say the best player is the sole reason why you did not win. So while it might be sensationalized to say Lamar has to show us more as a quarterback in the playoffs, and that's very true, I still look at Josh Allen. Josh Allen does not have that safety net created for him underneath him if he falls flat in the playoffs. He doesn't have an MVP bid. He doesn't have I was the best at this in the National Football League on his resume. And that puts a lot more pressure on him because he is a guy that we want to speak on in the most elite manner, but he hasn't achieved at the most elite level to be in the conversation with the other elites of elites just yet. And I think that provides more pressure on Josh Allen.
It's interesting how y'all look at this. Sometimes I have to tangent away from sports, only to come back to sports, but talk in another lane to make some things make a little bit more sense. If I can look at the fellas, please, because I got to talk to my dogs. Okay. Fellas, you all are the married men. Let's talk relationships. All football is one big relationship.
Trying to stay married.
And you all are the experts. You all are the resident experts on this desk.
Keep it clean.
As far as relationships. Now, Pete, L.A., because this is where I'm trying to go with this. If you already know that the significant other is smart, they're intelligent, you know that they can cook, you know that they're trustworthy, you know that they're funny, say they've already checked all these boxes, but now you bring them home to meet your folks, to meet the relatives, and your folks hate them. See, if you've already checked all these boxes, but you're waiting for that last box to be checked, then the checking or lack thereof of that final box is eminently imperative because they've already checked off all the other boxes. So now all that matters is what is going on with this last box. Whereas Josh Allen, he's still checking boxes. We're like, is he really smart? But can he cook? Like, is he trustworthy? Is he funny? Like, do I have a good time with him? So we haven't gotten yet to that imperative checking off of the last box.
Save this dude.
And that's where
Save this dude, LaVar.
I need no saving.
It is less pressure for the person you brought home to the family that has checked off all of the boxes versus the person that hasn't. And I'm going to tell you why.
Please.
If they hate that person that you brought home, that's checked off all of the boxes, then you have to question what their motives are.
Whoa.
Why do you hate this person? Because you have checked off all of the boxes. And if I'm supposed to be responsible and the way you have raised me is to bring home somebody who checks off the boxes, not someone who hasn't, then the less pressure is to say, you know what? She checks off all of the boxes. So therefore, if you have a problem with her, maybe you need to take a look at the boxes that you aren't checking off versus the boxes you're looking at that are checked off by the person that I brought you home.
Don't boost him, Marcellus.
I couldn't have said it. No one on this planet could have said it any better. Hey, if y'all got a problem with all these boxes checked, we need to talk. Y'all need to let go. And I know I went through that resistance, even through all my engagements. Like, let go. Because that's all it was. The box they wanted to check was the box that they kept for themselves. It wasn't about us. I digress. Amazing, Lamar. And also, remember this, Acho. The one who doesn't check all the other boxes, Josh Allen, doesn't even get to come home. He doesn't even get to come see the family. So let's leave it there. What we're doing here again is we're looking at success differently. Okay. I use Lamar Jackson and him checking all the boxes off as having equity, as having that success, as having a mattress to lay on in case things don't work out. Just like in the first year when things didn't work out. Just like in the second year when things didn't work out. We'll see how it plays out this year. But the point is, there are only two people walking this planet that have a unanimous MVP trophy. And one of them is Lamar Jackson. So if all else fails going forward in these playoffs, he still has somewhere to rest. Where does Josh Allen have to rest in this situation? So this is what I want you to understand, Acho.
What's up?
Because I don't want you to be this kind of person in life.
Talk to me.
That you have so much going on. Tremendous success. A lot of it is coming of late, too, as well. Congratulations, big dog. But don't become a prisoner of your own success, because that's going to happen, too. You're right now telling me you're going to make Lamar Jackson a prisoner of his own success. He climbed a mountain higher than Josh Allen, but now you're going to sit there and say if he were to stumble from that higher apex, that it's worse for him than somebody who hasn't even climbed their mountain yet. I don't look at life that way. I look at it more in an absolute state. Hey, Josh Allen, even get up to where Lamar Jackson is, qualified for this conversation before we can really start to say that it's a problem with Lamar.
But here's what you know, because you've been at the mountaintop. LA, you've been at the mountaintop. And, sir, I am still ascending in my own realm, not necessarily sports specific.
Gotcha.
The higher you climb, the bigger of a target that you are.
Oh, for sure.
And Lamar Jackson has ascended to heights where he now has more pressure. Marcellus, you said that either way, regardless of how Lamar Jackson performs, he'll have somewhere to rest. That is true. But I don't think he's going to be resting in the house he wants to lay his head in. Ooh. When we think about Charles Barkley, he accomplished a lot. But what's the first thing that really comes to mind? Some of his outlandish takes maybe, but also, wait, Chuck ain't never win a chip. When we think about Dan Marino, he accomplished a lot. But what do we think about when we think about Dan Marino? What's one of the first things that come to mind? He was the greatest player to never win a Super Bowl. Charles Barkley was one of the greatest players to never win a championship. Lamar Jackson will have somewhere to rest if he does not win. But I'm afraid that he gonna end up resting in the outhouse, not in the mansion. He gonna end up resting in houses that he does not want to rest in. Again, the real pushback on this is Peyton Manning. I understand that's the pushback. Peyton Manning started 0-5 in the playoffs, if I'm not mistaken. But I have to remind y'all, Peyton Manning was an outlier. Peyton Manning was not the norm. Let's look at NFL quarterbacks who started their playoff careers 0-3. You're going to see some names on there. Some you'll recognize, some you don't. You'll see Burt Jones, Steve Grogan. Then you'll see guys like Randall Cunningham, Bobby Herbert, Matt Ryan, Matthew Stafford, Andy Dalton. If you look at it, the only name on there that everybody's like, oh, he didn't start off great, but all ended well, is Peyton Manning. So again, Lamar Jackson, choose the company you want to keep. He will have a house to rest in. It's just a matter of what house will he be resting in.
Yeah, but that house is in Canton as well. He's on a Canton trajectory. And like, look, for me, I'm not a pro Hall of Famer, but I will say this. I earned, you see that on my name right there on the TV, right? I earned 3 Pro Bowls, and those were not alternate Pro Bowls. I was a starter. I was a first ballot Pro Bowler selection, which means that when I have discussion points about guys that are in the Hall of Fame, there are guys that are in the Hall of Fame that don't have as many Pro Bowl bids as me. I can lean on that. I'm not going to be a Hall of Famer, but I'll be darn sure having my conversation points ready if somebody comes for me and say, well, you weren't a Hall of Famer at the pro level. Well, you know what? I do have more Pro Bowls than some of the people that are resting with a bus in Canton, Ohio. So to me, the fact that he has the accomplishments that he has, the guys you mentioned, Jim Kelly is one of the greatest to ever do it, doesn't have a Super Bowl. Dan Marino, one of the greatest to ever do it and doesn't have a Super Bowl. But the mansion that they rest in, that outhouse that you're talking about, it resides in Canton, Ohio, and it's a bus with a yellow jacket that accompanies it.
Ooh,
That's all I'm saying.
I thought I was going to button it up, but you said it best. And it's funny, I have 3 Pro Bowls too, but only 1 starting, 2 alternates. So even LaVar got a better house than me. It all works out in the end, somehow, some way.